Steve Cassidy here. I want to talk today about cross-site scripting, a security issue, security vulnerability involving JavaScript and your web browser. And I just want to illustrate that using this job site. This is the web application that we've been building this year, and as it is specified by default, it has a vulnerability, it has this cross-site scripting vulnerability. So this site posts jobs, and I can log into the site and I can post a job. So we can log in and we get this little form that allows me to post a job over here. So this job description can contain markup. So I can put markup in here that allows me to format the job. And the idea is that I want nicely formatted descriptions of my position. So the site allows me to structure the page like this and so on. And that's good, and that will be transferred directly. So if I submit that, then we get this job listing, and you can see here that the markup that I have included is included in the page. So we can go and have a look at this, and we'll see the position body, and there's my markup, and this is really what I typed in that position. And this is useful because it allows me to structure the page. So let's do that again. And this time though, we're going to try something different. We're going to try, well, let's just try a blatant script attack. So here's a script. And this is the job description. Okay, so what I've done is I've included a little bit of JavaScript code in my job description. Okay, there's the rest of the job description. And so obviously what's going to happen here is when I submit this, and here we're getting our result back, I've got my little alert being executed there. So here's my attack job, and when I look at the page for that, every time it's run, so if I inspect this, every time we load that page, then we were going to see this description here. There you go, posted on, and there you go. Here's my payload here. So this is my evil hack JavaScript. Now I can therefore insert JavaScript into this page, and so whenever anybody visits this page, my JavaScript is being executed. And so that goes for me. Clearly I'm the one doing that here, but even if I log out, then that will still be running that page, and if somebody comes and runs a whole new session, they'll still see my job listing, and this is an evil hack job listing. It's going to actually run the JavaScript code on whoever accesses this page. So this is an example of a cross-site scripting attack. I have injected my JavaScript into a page that is going to be displayed on somebody else's website, on somebody else's application. So when somebody else requests this page, they will get my JavaScript. Now that JavaScript can run in the context of this page here, and this page is my jobs page. So if I'm an innocent third party, let's say I log in and I'm trying to sort of carry out my work, then that JavaScript is running in the context of me logged into this site, and it can therefore do things on my behalf. So this is a job site. It could, for example, post a dummy job listing, or more likely, if I've got an account of some kind on here, it can maybe try and exploit that by adding charges to that account, or other things, or finding out the details of people who are applying for the jobs that I'm listing, and so on. So there's potential private data on this site that might be accessible to somebody who can impersonate me, and they can impersonate me if they are able to run JavaScript code inside my session. So we have a vulnerability here. We've got a problem. Notice though, if I log in again, let's log in again. Notice though that if I try to attack the title, and submit that, I get my evil hack, the code in the title, that won't execute. So what's happened there is that this has actually been protected. Now we're only adding this body code is the only bit that is actually being allowed through, because we wanted people to be able to format their own job description. So we allow that through and insert that in the page. If we go and have a look at the page source that we're delivering, we can see here that the let me make that a little bit bigger. You can see here that for the where the evil hack is, here you go, here's the evil hack, then we just inserted exactly what was typed in the page. But in the case where we actually protected ourselves from the evil hack, what we've done is inserted this stuff in here, and what you see here is escaped HTML. So all of the special characters, like the less than sign, has been turned into ampersand LT, and the greater than sign into ampersand GT, and those are displayed in the page like this. So they're displayed like this less than sign and greater than sign, so they look like markup, but because they are written like this, they're not interpreted by the browser as markup, and so they're safe. So our script, our alert thing here isn't inside a script tag, and so it's not executed. So what have we done to protect ourselves here versus this case here? Well, what we've done is in the bottle template we have used a different expression. So here I am in the bottle simplet template engine documentation, and we can see that this is the relevant part here. The normal way to include some material in a template is to use this curly brace syntax here. And so if I say hello name in my template and name is world, then I'll get hello world, and so on. And what it says here is that HTML characters are escaped automatically to prevent XSS attacks. XSS is cross-site scripting. Okay, so by default, if you don't do anything and just use this name expression here, it will quote those characters, and you'll end up with those LTs and GTs and so on, which will display nicely but not be executed. We actually have to go out of our way. You can start an expression with an exclamation mark to disable escaping. So if we do this, and then the name is world as a bold, then what we get is plain old bold, whereas if we do the original version, we get the LT GT entities version of the code. So this is the sort of primitive, the basic protection against cross-site scripting, is to essentially don't trust the data that you are getting from the user. So we're getting a few bits of data from the user here, and we basically don't trust the head, the title, or the, but somehow, basically as a design decision for this application, we are trusting the job description. We are saying we actually think, we're just going to insert that as is because we want this feature of being able to format your HTML. So we're going to have to do something in order to fix that. That's a vulnerability in this site. Now there are lots of approaches, and in the notes I talk about a few of those. We can just forbid this altogether, and then you can't format your page. We can try and remove all the tags that are evil from the markup and try and make it nice. We can allow only a certain number of tags, and so on. So there's some different approaches to removing it, but just blatantly inserting content into the page that comes from the user is really a recipe for a security vulnerability like this. So that's just a brief picture of the cross-site scripting vulnerability as illustrated in our jobs website.